Hi guys, alright, happy Thursday. Yes, happy Thursday. Alright, so, kind of been really delving more into the Annabelle case, trying to find reports of the people that have antagonized her and taunted her while going to visit the the Warrens Occult Museum. Can't find anything, can't find any reports of the guy that died on his motorcycle after antagonizing him. Can't find the report on the person having a heart attack right there in the museum after antagonizing Annabelle. Can't find any reports of anything. So it's pretty much just all hearsay. But I am really thinking why. Why am I so obsessed with this doll? With this one particular doll? So I drew a card the other night, just to kind of see with the Lenormand tarot cards. Just kind of see if there's like maybe a connection. And basically what happened and how I channeled, it was really different. It was really weird. It drained me. The night, this was a couple nights ago, last week I think, or yeah, this week. It was earlier in the week. I think it was probably about Monday night, Tuesday night when I dreamt this. I was, I've been looking for, a replica Annabelle doll. Or, even, obviously nobody can get the real one, so I was looking for the replica Annabelle doll, and then I drew a card, and I got the fox. So, and the fox is a sign of intelligence and cunning, but on the negative side, it's trickery. So that's kind of how I viewed that. So what with the Conjuring universe and the Annabelle universe, how does that make a difference in the occult world and in the physical world with Annabelle being portrayed in the movies? Should people be buying these dolls, the replica dolls? I mean, I God knows I want one. She's just very expensive. I mean, very expensive. So kind of what I channeled, I did channel Lorraine. It was very odd. I don't like Bible study, and that's basically what it was. It was a Bible study with Lorraine. So I didn't really care for that. But the energy, it was just so sweet and so nice and just amazing. She had just the best energy in this world. Or the other world. So, and then I kind of thought maybe, okay, well, me obsessing over Annabelle. So, that would mean that whatever they have contained, if this is all true, with that doll, whatever they have contained, if they have contained that evil, it obviously wants out. If it is an inhuman spirit, something that has never been born before, it's going to want out. How do they know that can, that the church class and blessing it can keep that contained? I don't think it can. So, kind of what I drew from that was, alright, so Annabelle wants to multiply into smaller versions for people that are obsessing over her. There's that etheric link, that cord, psychic connection with Annabelle. So, that's just kind of my take on it. I mean, that's just my take on it. I don't know. I'm not an expert with haunted items, and especially far from it with Annabelle. I just know it's just a really cool doll. I mean, the doll, not the actual Raggedy Ann doll, because it's not that great looking. But what I channeled from Lorraine was just basically, I would have to, if I were to have an Annabelle doll, basically it would have to be in, a case. And, I don't want to go about all of that stuff. So it was very interesting of how she spoke, and, and then came the Bible, she started to just preach like she would in real life, but she wasn't pushy. It was nothing like that. She was very respectful of, of what I believed. So she just warned me not to, mess with that particular entity. So it's still, nothing adds up. I mean, some of it does add up with the Annabelle doll, and then some of it doesn't. So I'm not 100% sure. So I did find a story shared by Lorraine Warren, and this is at Milford's Lorlaton Hall. So this is a case of the Annabelle doll. Alright, so you all know what the actual Annabelle doll looks like. It's the Raggedy Ann doll. It's not the one in the movie. We all know that. Alright, so this article is nhregister.com, the New Haven Register, so that would be yes. Alright, so it says here that Milford on the night Hollywood released the horror movie Annabelle, a sellout audience at Laura Lawton Hall was spellbound hearing about the real Annabelle, a demonic doll, from paranormal investigator Lorraine Warren, who cracked the real-life case along with her late husband Ed Warren. So obviously the real Annabelle doll is locked in a box at the Warrens Occult Museum at her Monroe home. So, alright, so the doll in the movie is this frightening looking porcelain doll as in a child's image with long hair, and the real Annabelle, the one in the Warrens Museum, is a plain looking classic Raggedy Ann doll with red yarn hair. So, but Raggedy Ann at the Warrens Museum is no ordinary doll. According to the Warrens, it is inhabited by an inhuman spirit. So, and there is a warning on the glass not to touch it, and I wonder why Ed put that the devil tarot card on that doll. I mean, it was probably for effect. So, alright, one museum goer who ignored the warnings and taunted the doll died in a motorcycle crash shortly after being told to leave the museum. See, and I cannot find any reports on that. There's no reports at all. So I've dug and dug and dug and dug. Nothing comes up for anything related to anybody going to the Warrens Occult Museum, taunting Annabelle, and then dying. It's just, I don't believe it. So, the movie is a prequel to The Conjuring, based on the Warrens' real-life case involving the doll. So the couple had a lot of input in the first movie, but Annabelle is fabricated. So Warren, who mostly along with her late husband has investigated more than 10,000 cases of paranormal activity, presented the talk and slideshow of cases at the Catholic Girls' High School with the help of her son-in-law Tony Spera, also a paranormal investigator. I wonder why her daughter Judy isn't doing any of this, because she was terrified of that doll. She was terrified of the artifacts living below her, growing up with them. So, Warren, now 87, okay, so this is when she was alive. So soft-spoken and sweet to all those who engaged her in conversation at a meet and greet, said presenting at Lauraton was like going home because she attended the school in the late 1930s, but had to leave because of illness. So, Lorraine Warren said her presentations are in extra demand during September and October because fascination with the subject is heightened during Hallows Eve, as she calls it. So now we're going to get into the superstitious part of Catholicism, which we just did. So a Roman Catholic, Warren now, and in her earlier career with her husband, often works with priests and other clergy because they rely on blessings and sometimes exorcism to resolve a case. So, but she said the power of faith has gotten her out of many scary situations. However, it's often about fighting the demonic with goodness. Holy water is a tool. So, Lorraine had said that her Catholic faith is both her protection and her drive. Alright, so she also says, by telling the audience that ever since the age of 7 or 8 she saw lights or auras around people, but was afraid to tell her parents for fear that they would think she was crazy. So, she spent many years praying about it because she says, I didn't want to be different, she said. So, Lorraine recalled the story from her Laura Lawton days. She had a favorite teacher, a nun who taught French, and once told her, referring to her aura, Lorraine told we all know that Lorraine told the nun that her light was brighter than Mother Superior. Warren said she was told to go to the chapel and pray about it, and it will go away. So, her Laura Lawton audience, with no connection to the school, but there as Warren fans, roared with laughter. So yeah, I would too. I mean, at first she didn't even tell Ed, whom she met at 16, about her abilities. It's so sweet how they met too. It really is. I think he was a soda jerk, or he worked in the movie theater that she frequented. So it was really sweet. And she knew when the second she saw him, psychically, that was who she was going to be with. That was pretty sweet. That's actually really sweet. So, but later that he would tell, she would tell him that she was different. So at first, she didn't even, I already told you guys that. So Ed was a self-taught demonologist. An interest he developed after growing up in a house that he said was haunted. And Lorraine would pool their talents and go to become world-famous paranormal investigators. So her career has spanned 65 years. 65 years of doing demonic research, exorcisms, house blessings, cleansings, helping clients. Wow. 65 years. So, the Warrens have done jobs throughout the United States and in faraway places, that Japan, England, Scotland, France, Australia. Wow. So, the couple charged only travel expenses, nothing for the actual investigating, but built an empire on books for actual investigating. But built an empire on books, movie work, and lectures about their classes, cases. So in 1952, Ed Warren founded the New England Society for Psychic Research, which is really interesting. So their investigations often included other professionals, including nurses, doctors, police officers, and researchers. So I really like that they actually, bring that element in. All these other doctors, they want, professional opinions from doctors, etc., etc., etc. They don't want just, occult specialists and psychics. So it's really good. So some of their most famous cases, besides the Amityville and Annabelle, include the Demon Murder, Werewolf, Smurl Family, the Perrons, Stepney Cemetery, Borley Church, Union Cemetery, and the Haunting in Connecticut. So Warren said most unwanted spirits enter through vehicles such as Ouija boards, tarot cards, and psychics, and urge the audience to keep their kids away from such things. Alright, so she's a psychic herself, and she did and performed seances in the Amityville. They didn't do an exorcism in the Amityville. They did a seance, and she admitted to being to opening something up, to releasing something that happened. So I just think it's hilarious. This is coming from a Roman Catholic perspective, so of course these are going to be deemed as evil by two Roman Catholic demonologists and a Roman Catholic psychic. That just does not, you don't hear that often. Alright, so Tony Spera said 7 of their 10 cases involved someone with a Ouija board asking, is there a spirit here? See, that's where they're wrong. They don't know how to use it properly. And obviously she did not do her research very well on the board. But anyways, if you go into a very happy home, very seldom bad things will be found, Warren said. So she and Spera continued the work after Ed's death in 2006 and are currently working on a haunting case in Stafford, she said. So every town in Connecticut has paranormal activity, Warren said. Nothing noting a recent exorcism, like event on New Haven man of 31 years old. Wow. So, quote, going into haunting experiences, there were some bad ones, scary ones. My faith is always my protection, she said. So she said that some 5 years ago, a retiring priest moved into an apartment on her grounds. And not only does he help on jobs, but she says, we have a mass every day in our house, she said, adding, it's beautiful how God works. So the presentation Friday, which drew lots of audiences, oohs and ahs, included a slideshow of findings on cases such as images of people from beyond or ghost-like forms appearing in photographs. So isn't this against everything that she's supposed to be following in her Roman Catholicism? I would think so. I honestly would think so. I feel a little blurry. There, I think it's a little better. Yeah, so I would think that she would be a little more, just like a little more open-minded, just because of what she's doing. And I'm still blurry. Wow, my eyes are actually green today. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think she's kind of contradicting herself there. So, alright, Sparrow spent part of the talk on the eerie real-life Annabelle story and emphasized that all of the items in the family's occult museum, that doll is what I'd be most frightened of. Curators believe the doll has the power to kill, according to a film on the Annabelle case. I really honestly don't know if that's true or not. I don't believe that. But I can't. I haven't antagonized her yet. So you guys will know. So, noting the case of the motorcyclist who died after leaving the museum, Sparrow said, "Never take things like this lightly, thinking it's a joke." See, that's probably a self-fulfilling prophecy, because that does happen. So according to a clip Sparrow showed, the real-life Annabelle story began in 1970 when a 28-year-old nurse received the Raggedy Ann doll as a birthday gift from her mom. And you can see this in Annabelle Comes Home and in Annabelle. And in Annabelle Creation. So it's different. It's very different. So, where'd we go? So she put the rag doll on her bed and began to notice it changing positions. A leg would be crossed or the doll would be lying on its side. Then the girl and her roommate began to find parchment paper on the floor with written messages such as "Help me, help us." They had no parchment paper in the house, and the doll began appearing in different rooms, and at one point appeared to be leaking blood. So that's very just, I don't know. What do you guys think? Honestly? Do you think some of these incidences are far-fetched? So, alright. Then one day a male friend was taking a nap and woke up with the doll staring at him as he felt like he was being strangled. So there were deep scratch wounds on his upper body. I can't find any of the pictures, nothing. So evidently it's a fake, false, or, extremely fabricated. Extremely fabricated. So the girls at the first thought maybe an intruder was moving the doll around and leaving the notes. When they ruled that out, according to the Occult Museum website, not knowing where to turn, they contacted a medium and a seance was held. So they were introduced to the spirit of Annabelle Higgins, said to be a young girl that resided on the property before the apartments were built and died at the age of 7. So Annabelle Higgins did live. She was alive, only she was involved with Charles Manson. So we see that in the first Annabelle. So, that's very different. So according to the website, the spirit related to the medium that she felt comfort with the two roommates in the apartment and had wanted to stay with them and be loved. So the roommates gave Annabelle permission to inhabit the doll, but things got worse. So the Warrens took an interest in the case and contacted the women. They came to the immediate conclusion that the doll itself was not in fact possessed, but manipulated by an inhuman presence, according to the Warrens' website, which goes on to say, truly the spirit was not looking to stay attached to the doll. It was looking to possess a human host. So this is just, some of this doesn't make sense, especially with my years of paranormal research and occult research. If you really listen to what they have to say about their cases and about haunted objects and about boards, Ouija boards, I think I heard her say the worst thing to have is a broken Ouija board in your house. The only thing nothing can happen with a broken Ouija board. So I don't know. And yeah, I don't know about the whole, the demon that, is attached to Annabelle. So, Sparrow said the Warrens took the doll, and Ed Warren told his wife they should avoid the highway because he was going to take a rough ride home. He was right. At some point he had to sprinkle the Annabelle doll with holy water to calm it down. So the movie Annabelle doesn't resemble the real-life story. In the movie, the doll is owned by a young couple given to the woman for her doll collection. As the woman nears her pregnancy due date, a pair of satanic cultists break in, stab the pregnant woman in the belly, and end up dead in their home. One of the cultists is named Annabelle Higgins, and some of her blood lands on the doll. So that's when the doll starts going over the top. Scary things. Alright, so you do see when she cuts her throat, Annabelle Higgins in the movie, because she's part of that cult. And she has that A on the wall, and you can see a piece of blood, or a drop of blood, go into Annabelle's eye, and literally get soaked up. So, I don't know. So, Sparrow and Warren said they don't really care that the producers of Annabelle fabricated the story for the movie, because it will serve the purpose of warning the public about demons. That is why I think it's completely over. It's a molehill, and now it's a mountain, Mount Everest. So that's what I am getting at here with the Annabelle doll. So, alright, quote, "Everyone in the audience who believes in God must also believe there's the devil," Spera said. "Ghosts, devils, demons are real." That's a little contradictory, too. Very. He said that most people are focused on the bad stuff regarding ghosts. "There are beautiful stories as well, such as the soldier who appeared to visit a loved one," Spera said. "It's a ghost if it is a stranger, appears, and an apparition if you recognize the person. The key is don't open any doors," Spera said. So, I don't know what I don't know what I want to believe about that doll. It's very different. I don't know. I really don't know. It's just very different. So I can't find any reports of motorcycle accidents. I can't find any reports of really anything to do with people antagonizing her. So I don't know. I don't know where you would find that. I've looked in the Connecticut records. I've looked at a lot of places. So, if it's true, it's got to be out there. It's got to be public information. There's got to be a newspaper clipping on it somewhere. So I do want to find that and read that. We should be able to see all these. If it's, if somebody truly was that, I'm sure there would be a lot more going on. If someone died right there in the museum, or, had a heart attack, or a stroke or whatever, and, I think it would be, more guarded by police, I would hope. Hell, I don't know. So, I don't know, but the tarot reading with, Annabelle wanting to multiply into more dolls so it can move around and kind of become like a virus. That is basically what I got. But then I also was focusing on Lorraine and her beliefs as a Roman Catholic. So that kind of was an influence for that. So, I don't know. I don't know. It's really hard to kind of wrap my mind around that. The whole concept of this inhumane spirit that it's a demonic, it's never been born, wrapping itself or attaching itself to a doll. I don't know. Don't you think demons would have something better to do than play with a doll? I don't know. And the nurses, who says, first it was the two nurses, and then, their friend came in, so how do we know that it wasn't their friend? And, how do we know that, these people aren't, lying to Lorraine and Ed when they, got the Annabelle doll? Very difficult. But, when Annabelle comes home and they have that car trouble, and, Lorraine, she sees the person, the woman, I think, in the back, she was saying how cold she was, or she was confused and she was cold, and Lorraine was speaking to her, telling her that she was just in a car accident. And, I don't understand how you can have that on one hand and then be a Roman Catholic, a fully devout Roman Catholic on the other hand, and have the church believe you and work with you on that. You would think that the church normally doesn't want anything to do with people like that, ever. Unless, she had to have undergone many tests, willingly. She had to have proved, her abilities. But then again, I think it was her connection to the church when, she went to Catholic school. So, the parents went to Catholic school, she went to Catholic school, and it just leads up to that. So, it's all in how we perceive it, I guess, with our own belief system. And they believed it from a perspective of Roman Catholicism, which is probably the most condemning and damning faith that you can possibly even, be a part of. So I don't know. I don't know if if I do get, a small Annabelle doll, maybe that virus wants to spread. Who knows? But then again, when I was channeling her, she started saying, how, it was still an inhumane spirit. She was worried about her museum, just all this stuff. She was worried about things getting out. She doesn't want stuff to get out of that. So I don't know. And then the quote with Ed, keeping the genie in the bottle. I don't know if I agree with that. I don't honestly know if I can agree with all of that, because I'm not a Roman Catholic. So, but I can see, because I was baptized Catholic, but that doesn't mean anything. So, I do see where that comes from, having a Roman Catholic family. A very Roman Catholic Italian family. So, it's very, they believe in, bad luck and ghosts. That's typical for for an Italian Roman Catholic family. And I don't understand, the whole, why that Raggedy Ann doll, why the nurses, or the nurse, why. I can't wrap my mind around it. So it's just, where's this proof, that Annabelle has caused all of these horrible instances to happen? Motorcycle accident. I can't find that. I want to find that, but I can't. Probably because it didn't happen, but I honestly can't say it didn't, because I wasn't there. So, but I can't find anything, any archives, anywhere. So, we have basically just two dead people's words to go on. And then Tony and Judy Spera's words. So that's really all we have to go on. And people that were close to Lorraine, and her interviews, and if you really go and you watch, her stories do not change. They don't change at all. So I believe she believes something is inhumane and never been born, and it's demonic that is attached to that doll. So I believe she believed it. I believe, that they are actually having an experience, with that particular doll. I've never had an experience like that before in my life. I would like to. Not, dying in a motorcycle accident. That would be terrible, but the only thing I have closest to is the crying Baphomet statue, which has not given me any problems whatsoever. So, I don't know. I am going to actually try to recreate an Annabelle doll, and get one. So we're going to see what can happen with that. With, having one that's pre-made by whoever makes them. Living Dead dolls, Metzco toys, the collectors. So I don't know. I'm just kind of still obsessing over this. Obsessing over these, these haunted dolls. So it's very interesting, and it's just kind of mind-boggling to actually think that, that could be a thing, especially with no record of these people, dying or, getting into a car accident by antagonizing Annabelle. I don't know. There's too many stories that are floating around on that doll. So, but you would really think, with the collective energy that so many people put into the Annabelle Conjuring universe, there would be, a little bit of lower level astral activity going on when you do purchase one of those replica dolls. So who knows? I would think that, now Annabelle is this giant collective force, and that's what I believe. So people just keep feeding it, so kind of like Zozo. But Annabelle actually has more truth and more background information than Zozo does, so that says a whole lot. That really does. And honestly, if Zozo was that big, I am pretty sure the Warrens would have covered it. They, over 10,000 cases, 65 years, pretty sure that they would have covered anything that regarded Zozo. So that kind of ties in there with the thought forms and the, tuplas, or tuplas, whatever you want to call them. So, I don't know. I'm just going to have to wait and see and find out when I get the Annabelle doll. she will be with me in my videos. I might even take her with me where I go. Who knows? So, but yeah, let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think about that? About, purchasing an actual replica Annabelle doll, and then having, the Conjuring universe and the Annabelle universe all into one, and then that collective energy of all the people that love, the movie and the Warrens and the doll, all the energy that keeps feeding it. What do you guys think about that? I mean, literally getting a doll and then seeing, if it gets infested. I don't know. But yeah, it was a really interesting thing to actually channel her, hear her. Very warm, very loving. Just was not in the mood for a Bible study. That's it. So, nothing bad though. It was very, very different. Very different. She does fear that doll's gonna get out. She did tell my one friend that she could handle Annabelle, but it might cost her her life. But she still could handle Annabelle. But for me, it was, if I do get an Annabelle doll, put it in a case. So I'm like, oh, okay, thanks. I can't handle her. Yeah, very different channeling sessions. So, but yeah, let me know what you guys think. I want to hear your thoughts and your opinions and everything on the Annabelle doll specifically, and the attachment and the whole collective consciousness of this thing that has been created, especially from James 1. So, who knows? I know Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson, they've had a few weird experiences. Vera, I know, has no, solid concrete beliefs in this, but she does truly believe that they truly believed that they were doing, the right thing. So, but she did have some weird experiences. She had 3 scratches on her thigh, very odd, and the same thing on her laptop computer. So it's kind of very different. So, I don't know. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I want to know what you guys think. Should I get an Annabelle doll or make one? I mean, what would be more powerful? If that's even possible. I don't know. So, I'm going to let you guys decide that. So, alright guys, I love you all. I hope you guys have a great day. Have a great weekend coming up. And yes, I love you all very much. First day of fall is coming. Thank the gods. And I love you all. So, I'll see you guys tomorrow. All the way from Venus, all the way back down. And I will see you all tomorrow. So, yeah, sweet dreams. And let me know what you all think. I'm very curious about this. So, there's got to be something going on. I hope. It sounds exciting. So, who knows. But, alright guys. I love you all, and thank you guys for watching.